For the latest in strategic affairs, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Click the bell icon for updates.
Hello and welcome to Strat News Global. 4 years ago, almost to date, in fact on 15th August 2019, Prime Minister Narendra Modi announced, rather unexpectedly, the appointment of a Chief of Defence Staff for the Indian Armed Forces. After that, it took 4 or 5 more months to appoint India's first Chief of Defence Staff. Now, this year, as 15th August approaches again, there is a lot of speculation and anticipation that he might talk about formation of theatre commands or joint theatre commands for the Indian Armed Forces as a consequence of the higher defence reforms that were initiated by that announcement of appointing a CDS 4 years ago. What's the truth and what shape will theatre commands take eventually when they come up is the question that I'm going to discuss on this week's Simply Nitin. I'm Nitin Gokhale. So as I said, 4 years after that announcement from the Red Fort, the military has worked diligently and assiduously to try and implement the vision of the government for reorganizing the higher defence management. How does this work? Of course, there was a setback when the first Chief of Defence Staff for India, General Bipin Rawat, and many of his colleagues vanished in that unfortunate helicopter accident on 8th December 2021. The second Chief of Defence Staff, General Anil Chauhan, and the 3 chiefs of the services, General Manoj Pandey of the Army, Air Chief Marshal V.R. Chaudhary of the Air Force, and Admiral R. Hari Kumar of the Indian Navy, have been meeting regularly, almost on a monthly basis, to try and evolve a structure that would be both useful, effective, and will bring in optimization and increase combat effectiveness of the Indian Armed Forces. They have apparently, according to many reports and also the discussions that I've had with the people who are in the know, they have now come down to a conclusion that India should have 3 functional joint theatre commands, which would be adversary specific rather than according to the geography. Now, when you say adversary specific, it has to be one theatre command looking after the land boundary against China, which is the Himalayan frontier in the north, but stretching from east in Arunachal Pradesh to northwest in Ladakh. The Western Theatre Command, which would largely combat any threat from Pakistan, and the Marine Theatre Command or Maritime Theatre Command for looking at the Indian Ocean in particular and the Indo-Pacific theatre in general. That's the consensus. Now, having come to that conclusion, the next step for the higher military leadership, the top military leadership, which meets under the rubric of the Chiefs of Staff Committee, of which the Chief of Defence Staff is the permanent chairman according to the notification issued in December 2019, which also created the Department of Military Affairs for the military. And he also is someone who is the advisor for the National or the Nuclear Command Authority. These are the several hats that the CDS wears. But when the theatres get created, who will head those theatres? What would be the rank of those officers? What would be the structure of the theatres? And parallelly, who will have the operational control over the theatres or the theatre commanders is something that is still evolving or is being discussed and debated and deliberated upon. And therefore, I thought we will look at some of the existing models in countries like the United States, the UK and Australia to begin with, who are democracies and who have sort of evolved these structures over the years. In fact, the famous Goldwater-Nichols Act in 1984 in the US ushered in the jointness and the structure that US now currently functions under. Then, of course, the UK, from which we derive our democratic model or our parliamentary democracy model, and the Australians who also follow some model that is derived from combination of US and UK are good to look at. Remember, the Chinese, who are principal adversaries for India, started reforming and reorganizing their military, the PLA, the People's Liberation Army, into various theatres way back in 2012. And one Western Theatre Command looks after India's border, or the border between India and Tibet, now border between India and China, de facto. So they have undertaken the reforms and reorganization, and therefore India, in a way, has been a laggard. It took almost 20 years for the government to bite the bullet and implement the recommendations of the group of ministers which were formed in the wake of the Subramaniam Committee, the K. Subramaniam Kargil Review Committee, following the Kargil War in 1999, and some of the recommendations that the group of ministers came up with. One of those was appointment of the CDS. But the first or two or three things that the Kargil Review Committee recommended were implemented immediately in 2001, following the group of ministers' review and recommendations. That was Headquarter IDS, which is Integrated Defence Staff, the formation of the Andaman Nicobar Command, and the formation of the Strategic Forces Command, which looks after India's nuclear assets. That's in the past. Then the CDS was appointed, or the first CDS took over on 31st December 2019. DMA was created alongside. But now, the brass tacks are still to be implemented. When it comes to the brass tacks, it is the formation of the theatre commands. So let us look at some of the models. The US, for instance, has this model. The Secretary of Defense, equivalent to the Raksha Mantri or the Defense Minister in India, is the supreme authority who was a single point control and command over the US Armed Forces. Of course, the Supreme Commander is the President of the United States. As the chart comes in, you will see how it works. And then there is the Joint Staff Committee, of which there is a general who is the chairman of the Joint Staff Committee, which looks at planning and coordination amongst the three services or the various commands that the US has created over the years. So as you see, Secretary of Defense, followed by the CJSC, and then the service chiefs, Army, Navy, Air Force. You have unified commands, which are, the one that liaises with India mostly is the Indo-Pacific Command, which is headquartered in Hawaii, which used to be called the Pacific Command earlier. And there are several other commands: Central Command, European Command, Northern Command, Africa Command, Southern Command. All these are the commands which have all the elements, Army, Navy, Air Force, in these commands. These are functional commands that the US military has. And then there are the other commands, special operations, you have transport, you have strategic, space and cyber, which are commands that support the main body of the military deployment anywhere that they go. But anyway, that's one model that you have. The responsibility lies with the Secretary of Defense. Can this be applied to an Indian context? Perhaps not. Mainly because the Raksha Mantri in the Indian context is mostly a senior, seasoned and experienced politician who may not have much insight into the way the military functions, the way the military needs to be deployed or force needs to be applied. All that the Raksha Mantri may not know. So therefore, question remains is who will be the operational commander. We will come to that in a moment. Let's look at what the UK does, for instance. The UK model is simple. It's a small military. It has the Minister of Defence and then, of course, the Permanent Secretary, which is like our Defence Secretary in India. There is the Chief of Defence Staff and there is the Vice Chief of Defence Staff, followed by all other components, as you can see on the chart. The Australian model is also somewhat similar with the Chief of Defence Force. Now, this is an interesting variation. In the Australian context or the Australian system, the Chief of Defence Force, it is not called Chief of Defence Forces. He is the Chief of Defence Force. He is a 4-star officer drawn from any of the 3 services, who in turn commands the Vice Chief of Defence Force, also who is in charge of the joint operations of the 3 forces. And then it goes down into the various components, military, marine, army, navy, and air force. That's the Australian model. Now, none of these models can be replicated in the Indian context as is. The Indian template needs to be different. It needs to be different for various reasons. Now, the reasons are, simple reason is that India's geography is large, but more than that, no other country, not United States, not Australia, nor UK, have the challenges that India has. India has 2 adversaries at its doorsteps. China on the northern border, Pakistan on the western border, or let's say 1.5 adversaries if you consider Pakistan now to be in a bad state, both militarily and economically, but can never ignore that threat at the moment. Now, this is a real-time threat and real-time deployment that India has to do. And therefore, to optimize resources, to increase combat effectiveness, India needs to have its own model of theatre commands. Let's assume that the theatre commanders are 4-star generals, equivalent to the 3 chiefs, service chiefs, who eventually will be in charge only of what is called raising the forces, training the forces, and sustaining, that is capability development of the forces, procurement, making sure that the forces get what they want in terms of equipment, platforms, uniforms, rations. Everything will be the responsibility of the chiefs. So they will be eventually in charge of raise, train, and sustain function. The Chief of Defence Staff is not a military commander or an operational commander of the theatres. Only reason is, which has been stated in the notification issued the day the CDS notification came out in December 2019, was that he needs to be an impartial advisor to the government. He is the principal military advisor, not single point military advisor. That distinction needs to be made. Now, having done that, the CDS needs to be away from the day-to-day operations. So he needs assistance in headquarter IDS, which needs to be reorganized. And therefore, probably a Vice Chief of Defence Force, Vice Chief of Defence Staff, call whatever you want, like the Australian model or the UK model, needs to be the main fulcrum around which the operational matters revolve. He might be assisted by 2 more 3 stars, one looking after the pure operations, the other looking after administrative and logistics functions. But that is a matter of detail going forward. But can the crucial strategic decision making when it comes to crunch, when it comes to actual war breaking out, hot war breaking out, can one man or 2 people be entrusted with the whole responsibility? What is the political input in all this is the question that is being debated. So there is a possibility which can be thought about that between the Cabinet Committee on Security, which is the highest security decision-making body in the Indian system, headed by the Prime Minister, consisting of the 4 top ministers, Ministers of Defence, External Affairs, Home and Finance, and then of course assisted by the National Security Advisor and all others below him. Between the CCS and the headquarter IDS headed by the Vice Chief of Defence Force, let's say, there needs to be a body which can give a wholesome advice or take political decisions when it comes to applying force or deployment needs to be ordered, or a wholesome decision has to be taken in which looks at diplomatic, military, social and political fallout of any decision that comes in. Now, should this body be constituted at all? Could it be called the Higher Defence Committee, which will have the NSA, the Foreign Secretary, the Defence Secretary, the Home Secretary, and maybe the Cabinet Secretary, and of course the 3 chiefs in the CDS, which is a collective body which takes collegiate decision of extremely important and strategic nature. Day-to-day tactical operations, deployment of force or application of force in the theatre specific areas can be left to the theatre commander in consultation with the VCDF or VCDS, whatever that terminology may be. But can India think of a higher defense committee which will then take that decision and interact between the CCS and the headquarter IDS down below the higher defense committee? Food for thought. We don't know where it is going to go, whether a final decision on these lines has been taken. There is no official word on this kind of a model being thought about. I have just sort of thrown this idea after talking to different people and looking at different models. Maybe India needs to have this. And then, of course, there is a question of how to organize the theatre commands. What are the components? How will they interact with the headquarter IDS? What will be the role of the three chiefs? After all, they are experienced people. They have risen through the ranks and reached that spot or that top post. Can they be just twiddling their thumbs if the balloon goes up somewhere? Are they not capable of giving advice? But do they have the authority? All these questions need to be first addressed, put down on paper and then implemented is something that I'm picking up from different people. And therefore, if anybody thinks in India that theatre commands are going to come in or being announced by the Prime Minister from the Red Fort again, I think I'll take it with a pinch of salt, because it is not the Prime Minister's domain or his concern how these theatre commands are organized or how this functional structure is raised by the military and how does it function with the political hierarchy or the political executive. That's the function of the military leadership, followed by the national security managers led by the National Security Advisor and his advisors in the National Security Council Secretariat. Let's see where it goes, whether this decision will be announced on 15th August or not, we don't know. But the fact is, India is moving relentlessly towards formation of theatre commands, and now this is a reform that is irreversible, which is a positive thing to happen, that India's higher defense organization is now looking at reforms that will help the Indian military to be the most effective force for future and maybe technical or technological based wars that are coming in the coming decade. That's all I have this week. A lot of food for thought. I invite your comments and your feedback. I'm sure a lot of people will have different views. They will even criticize some of the things that I have suggested. But that's the idea of this program. Although it's called Simply Nitin, I know today I've drawn a very complex picture. In case you want some more clarifications, do write back to us. And of course, keep watching Strat News Global. You know where to reach us. Our YouTube channel, our social media handles are all visible on the screen. So do use them to reach us and give us feedback. For the time being, it's goodbye.